The elevator drops 6 stories into the belly of Cheyenne Mountain, and I'm thinking about Marcus again, my brother, the diplomat, probably boarding some fancy plane in Geneva right now, while I'm down here babysitting ventilation systems. That's the thing about working NORAD maintenance. Everyone topside gets to save the world, and I get to make sure their air conditioning doesn't quit. Caleb, you copy? The radio crackles against my hip. It's Sergeant Williams, probably wondering why I haven't checked in from level 7 yet. Yeah, copy. Just reached the primary air handling unit. I switch on my streamlight and scan the corridor. 26 years I've been breathing recycled air down here, ever since Dad got me the job right out of high school. Never planned on making it a career, but the pension's decent and everybody keeps telling me, somebody has to keep the lights on while the officers play war games. The AHU-7 is humming wrong. Not broken exactly, but off. Like when your truck starts making that noise, that means you're going to be walking to work next week. I pop the access panel and shine my light inside. The fan blades look fine, but the housing's vibrating more than it should. Probably the mounting bolts working loose again. They built this place in the 60s to survive nuclear war, but they didn't account for 50 years of Colorado soil settling. My phone buzzes, text from Marcus. Delayed at Zurich. See you Thursday instead of Tuesday. Thursday. That's 3 days later than planned. Sarah's gonna be pissed. She's been cooking all week for his visit, and she doesn't cook. I mean, she tries, but the woman can burn water. Last time Marcus came home, she spent 2 days making some fancy beef thing she saw on the Food Network, and it still tasted like charcoal. But she does it because she thinks I care about impressing my big brother, the diplomat. I don't, but I let her think I do. The bolt's definitely loose. I pull my socket set from the tool bag, the good craftsman set, not the Harbor Freight junk the Air Force buys in bulk. 15mm. Always 15mm on these old train units. Dad taught me that. Every machine's got a pattern, Caleb. Learn the pattern, respect the pattern, and the machine won't let you down. The mountain shudders. Not shudders exactly. More like a tremor, but wrong. I've felt earthquakes down here before. Colorado gets small ones. Nothing like California, but enough to rattle the coffee cups in the break room. This feels different. Deeper. Like something big hitting the ground hard somewhere above us. The lights flicker. Emergency lighting kicks in for 2 seconds. Then the main power comes back. All stations, this is command. Report status. The intercom echoes through the tunnels, but Colonel Martinez's voice sounds tighter than usual. I've worked under 3 commanders in my time down here, and they all get the same tone when something's happening topside that we need to worry about. My radio squawks. Maintenance teams, report to your stations and stand by for further instructions. Repeat, report to stations and stand by. I socket the wrench onto the bolt anyway. Whatever's happening up there, the air system still needs to work down here. That's the thing about infrastructure nobody understands. It doesn't care about your crisis. The lights need power, the air needs circulation, and the water needs pressure whether we're at DEFCON 5 or DEFCON 1. The bolt turns easy. Too easy. The threads are stripped. Shit. Now I'll need to tap new threads or replace the whole mounting bracket, and that means a trip back to the shop for parts. The shop that's on level 3, which means taking the elevator up 4 levels and then back down, assuming whatever happened topside hasn't screwed up the elevator systems. The intercom crackles again. This is command. We have a confirmed aircraft incident near the eastern perimeter. All personnel maintain current security posture. Medical teams report to briefing room Alpha. Aircraft incident. That's military speak for plane crashed, but we're not telling you how bad yet. My phone rings. Sarah. Caleb? Are you okay? The news is saying there's been some kind of accident at the mountain. I'm fine. I'm underground, remember? 6 levels down. What's the news saying? A plane crashed. They're showing the smoke from Pikes Peak. Oh God, Caleb, they're saying it was an international flight. Marcus was supposed to fly back today. Marcus. The text said Zurich, delayed until Thursday. I checked my phone again. The message came in 23 minutes ago. But if he was delayed at Zurich? Sarah, what airline? What flight? Swiss International, I think. They're not giving numbers yet. Caleb, please call him. Call Marcus and make sure he's okay. I try Marcus's number. Straight to voicemail. International roaming's always spotty, especially in the mountains. But the knot in my stomach isn't buying that explanation. The radio again. Level 7 maintenance, report status. This is Price. HU-7 is operational but needs parts. Requesting permission to return to shop. Negative. Stand by current location pending further instructions. Stand by. Military speak for, we don't know what we're dealing with yet, but stay put until we do. I socket another bolt, thinking about the last time Marcus called. 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. Something about his work getting complicated, new assignments, couldn't talk about it, but big things happening in biological security. Marcus always talks like that when he's trying to impress me, like his diplomatic work is more important than keeping the mountain's life support running. Maybe it is. The lights flicker again, longer this time. When they come back, there's a new sound in the system. High-pitched whine from somewhere deeper in the ventilation network. Like a pressure differential where there shouldn't be one. I kill my flashlight and listen. The mountain breathes differently when something's wrong topside. Air pressure changes, circulation patterns shift. After 26 years down here, you learn to feel it in your bones. My radio crackles with cross-chatter between security teams. Confirmed civilian casualties. Medical team en route. Unknown cargo manifest. Unknown cargo manifest. That's not good. Diplomatic flights carry all kinds of things that don't get listed on the regular paperwork. Medical samples, classified documents, prototype technology. Things that require special handling. Things that might explain why they're keeping us underground. I check my phone again. Still no response from Marcus. The message from Zurich shows as delivered but not read. That doesn't mean anything. Marcus never responds right away when he's traveling. But combined with the crashed international flight and the unknown cargo manifest, the whine in the ventilation system gets louder. I should report it. Pressure differentials can mean system failures, and system failures in a mountain complex can mean people die. But there's a protocol for everything, including when to break protocol. And right now, my gut's telling me that whatever's happening above us, it's connected to that sound in the air system. My father taught me to respect patterns, but he also taught me that sometimes the pattern changes, and when it does, you better be paying attention or you'll miss the only warning you get. The mountain shudders again. This time, I feel it in the floor, the walls, the ceiling, like something heavy settling where it doesn't belong. And in the distance, barely audible over the machinery, I hear something that makes my blood run cold. An alarm I've never heard before in 26 years underground. The alarm cuts off after 30 seconds, replaced by Colonel Martinez's voice over the intercom. He sounds like he's reading from a script, which means whatever's happening is serious enough for the brass to get involved. All personnel, this is command. We have initiated Condition Bravo protocols. Repeat, Condition Bravo is now in effect. All maintenance and support staff report current status and await further instructions. Condition Bravo. I've never seen it implemented, but I know what it means. Potential contamination event. The kind of thing they train for, but hope never happens. My radio squawks. Price, this is Sergeant Williams. Need you to run a full system diagnostic on the air handling units, levels 6 through 8. Priority 1. Copy. What am I looking for? Contamination indicators. Any irregularities in pressure, flow, or filtration status. And price. If you find anything at all, you call it in immediately. Contamination. The knot in my stomach tightens. I've been hearing that whine in the system for the last 10 minutes, and now they want contamination readings. I pull my testing kit from the tool bag. Not the fancy electronic stuff the specialists use, just basic pressure gauges and flow meters. But after 26 years, I can read these systems like sheet music. HU7's running hot. The intake pressure's down 12% from normal, which means either the filters are clogged or there's a pressure drop somewhere upstream. I check the gauge on the HEPA filter housing. Red zone. That's impossible. These filters were changed 6 days ago. They're rated for 6 months of normal operation, longer in a sealed environment. For them to hit red zone in less than a week means something's overloading the system. My phone buzzes. Sarah again. They're saying it was Swiss International Flight 127. Geneva to Denver. Caleb, that's Marcus's airline. His route, Geneva to Denver. The message said Zurich, but Geneva's only an hour away by car. Easy mistake if you're traveling between both cities. And if Marcus was actually on that flight, I try his number again. Still straight to voicemail. Sarah, I need you to do something. Call the airlines, call the embassy, call whoever you need to call. Get a passenger manifest for that flight. They won't tell me anything. I'm not family, technically. You know how they are about. You're his emergency contact. I put you down myself when he updated his paperwork last year. Tell them it's a family emergency, which it might be. I moved to HU8. Same story, intake pressure down, filters in the red. But this unit's showing something else. Temperature differential between intake and exhaust. Whatever's contaminating the filters isn't just particles. It's organic, biological. The radio crackles. All teams, this is Colonel Martinez. We have confirmed biological contamination from the aircraft incident. All interior spaces are now under positive pressure isolation. No one enters or exits without authorization from command. Biological contamination. From a diplomatic flight carrying unknown cargo. My phone rings. Unknown international number. Hello? Caleb? Thank God. It's Marcus. Relief floods through me so fast my knees almost buckle. Marcus, Sarah's been freaking out. There was a plane crash. I know. I was supposed to be on that flight. Supposed to be. What happened? Last minute change. Had to stay in Geneva for an emergency briefing. Caleb, listen to me carefully. Are you at the mountain? Yeah, I'm working. Why? How many levels down? 7. Marcus, what's going on? There's a pause. Background noise that sounds like official chatter, people giving orders in multiple languages. That plane was carrying diplomatic cargo, medical samples from a research facility in Switzerland. If there's been a breach, if those samples have been compromised. What kind of samples? The kind that can kill everyone in Colorado Springs if they get into the wrong environment. Caleb, where exactly are you in the mountain? I tell him, Level 7, primary air handling systems, running contamination checks. Jesus Christ, get out of there. Get out now. I can't. They've got us on lockdown. And Marcus, the contamination's already in the system. The filters are overloaded, pressure's dropping. If this stuff is airborne, it's not airborne naturally. But if it gets into a ventilation system with the right temperature and humidity conditions, it can become aerosolized. Caleb, you need to shut down the air circulation. All of it. I can't do that. People need air. People need to not die from hemorrhagic fever. The samples were from a containment breach in Bern. Experimental pathogen, engineered for rapid transmission. If it gets into NORAD's ventilation system, he doesn't finish the sentence, but he doesn't need to. I know what NORAD does. Command and control for nuclear defense systems. If the people making decisions about missiles and warheads get infected with something that affects judgment or response time, how long do we have? Depends on the concentration and environmental conditions. Could be hours, could be minutes. But Caleb, there's something else. The crash wasn't an accident. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. What do you mean? The pilot reported mechanical failure 20 minutes before impact, but the flight data shows all systems normal until the last 30 seconds. Someone wanted that plane to go down. Someone wanted those samples to breach containment. Who? We're still figuring that out. But whoever it is, they know about the mountain. They know about NORAD's ventilation systems. This isn't random, Caleb. This is targeted. A chill runs down my spine. Marcus, how do you know all this? Because I was supposed to be the courier. Those samples were my responsibility. Someone changed my flight itinerary at the last minute, and now I'm wondering if they knew I'd figure out what was really happening. The radio squawks with an urgent message. All stations, this is command. We have confirmed pathogen presence in multiple air handling systems. Initiating emergency protocols. Marcus hears it through the phone. Caleb, you have to shut down the circulation. Right now, before it spreads to the command levels. The shutdown controls are on level 3. I'm on level 7. Then you need to get to level 3. They've got us on lockdown. No one moves without authorization. Then get authorization. Tell them what I told you. Tell them the contamination isn't accidental. Before I can respond, my radio erupts with chatter. Level 3 report status. Medical teams to briefing room Alpha, code blue. Security teams, implement Condition Charlie protocols immediately. Condition Charlie. I've never heard that one before. Marcus, I have to go. They're escalating protocols. Caleb, wait. There's one more thing. If this pathogen reaches the command levels, if it affects decision-making capability during a crisis. What? The automated defense systems have protocols for compromised command authority. If the computers detect erratic decision patterns from human operators during a potential attack scenario, the implication hits me like a sledgehammer. They'll take human judgment out of the equation. Exactly. And right now, with international tensions where they are, with a biological attack on a nuclear command facility. I don't need him to finish. I know enough about NORAD's systems to understand what happens when the computers think human operators are compromised during a crisis. They start making decisions on their own. And the first decision they make is usually the last decision anyone makes. I kill the connection and key my radio. Command, this is Price, Level 7 Maintenance. I need to speak with Colonel Martinez. Priority Alpha. Stand by. The radio goes quiet for 30 seconds. In the distance, I can hear footsteps in the corridors above me, people moving fast, orders being shouted. The mountain feels different now. Tense. Like a string pulled too tight. Price, this is Martinez. What's your status? Sir, I have information about the contamination source. It's not an accident. The pathogen was deliberately released, and it's specifically engineered to target ventilation systems like ours. Silence. Then, Price, where did you get this information? I hesitate. Marcus told me about classified diplomatic cargo. Information that could get him in serious trouble if it's traced back to him. But people are going to die if I don't act on it. My brother was supposed to be on that flight, sir. He's a State Department courier. He just called me with details about the cargo manifest. Your brother, the diplomat. Martinez knows about Marcus. Of course he does. Security clearance reviews cover family members, especially when one works in a sensitive facility and the other travels internationally with diplomatic credentials. Yes, sir. Colonel, the contamination will become airborne if it reaches the right environmental conditions, and if it gets to the command levels during a crisis response. I understand your concern, Price, but we have protocols in place. Sir, with respect, the protocols assume accidental contamination. If this is a targeted attack designed to compromise decision-making capability during a nuclear alert status. The radio crackles with interference. When Martinez's voice comes back, it's different. Careful. Price, report to Briefing Room Alpha immediately. Sir, I need to shut down the air circulation first. The contamination's already overloading the filtration systems. Report to Briefing Room Alpha. That's an order. The connection cuts. I stare at the radio. Martinez wants me in Briefing Room Alpha, which is on Level 3, where the main environmental controls are located. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe he wants me up there, so I can access the shutdown systems. Or maybe he wants to isolate me because he thinks I'm compromised. My phone rings. Marcus again. Caleb, what did you tell them? What I had to tell them? That this isn't an accident. Jesus. They're going to trace that information back to me. There are only 3 people who knew about the cargo manifest, and one of them is dead in that plane crash. Then we're both in trouble. Marcus, they want me to report to Briefing Room Alpha. That's where they'll debrief you, and probably detain you pending a security investigation. What about the contamination? They'll handle it. But Caleb, there's something else. I've been monitoring the situation from Geneva. The crash has triggered automatic alert protocols. NORAD's defense systems are already at elevated readiness. Elevated readiness, which means the computers are paying closer attention to human decision patterns, looking for signs of compromise or erratic behavior. How long before the automated systems take over? Depends on what the threat assessment algorithms determine. But if biological contamination reaches the command levels and starts affecting judgment calls during an active alert status. My radio squawks. All personnel, this is command. We have confirmed pathogen presence in levels 5 and 6 air systems. All maintenance staff implement emergency shutdown protocols immediately. Emergency shutdown. That's what I've been trying to do, but from level 7, I can only shut down local systems. The main controls that govern the entire mountain circulation are on level 3. Price, this is Sergeant Williams. Status report. I key the radio. Williams, the pathogen's in multiple systems. I need access to the main environmental controls to implement a full shutdown. Negative. You're ordered to Briefing Room Alpha for immediate debriefing. Marcus hears the exchange through the phone. They're isolating you. They think you might be compromised because of your connection to the intelligence about the cargo. Are you compromised? I don't know. Maybe. The people who changed my travel itinerary had access to diplomatic scheduling systems. If they know I was supposed to be on that flight, if they know I have information about the pathogen, a new alarm starts blaring. Different from the first, 1 inch deeper, more urgent. The kind of alarm that means things have moved beyond containment protocols. The intercom crackles. All personnel, this is Colonel Martinez. We have initiated DEFCON 3 protocols due to confirmed biological attack on critical infrastructure. All personnel maintain current positions pending security clearance verification. DEFCON 3. The last time NORAD went to DEFCON 3 was during the September 11th attacks. My phone buzzes with a text from Sarah. They're evacuating Colorado Springs. Something about biological contamination. Where are you? I text back, underground. Safe for now. Stay away from the mountain. But I'm not safe. None of us are. The pathogen's spreading through the ventilation system, and the more people get infected, the more erratic decision-making becomes. And when decision-making becomes erratic during a DEFCON 3 alert, Marcus, I need to get to level 3. They won't let you. They think you're a security risk. Then I'll have to go without permission. Caleb, if you leave your assigned position during a DEFCON 3 alert without authorization, they'll treat you as a hostile. Armed response. Armed response. Security teams with orders to shoot anyone who might be compromised and acting erratically. What choice do I have? If the contamination reaches the command levels, you might not be able to stop it anyway. By the time you get to level 3, it might already be too late. The radio erupts with chatter. Security teams to level 4, code red. Medical emergency, level 5. Containment breach, multiple locations. It's spreading faster than anyone anticipated. And with each new infection, each person whose judgment becomes compromised, the automated defense systems edge closer to taking human operators out of the decision loop. Marcus, what happens if the computers take over during a biological attack scenario? Silence. Then, they assume it's a prelude to a larger attack. First strike capability compromise. They initiate preventive response protocols. Preventive response protocols. Military speak for launch first, ask questions later. How long? Depends on the threat assessment. But Caleb, there's something else. Something I didn't tell you before. What? The pathogen wasn't just designed to cause infections. It was designed to mimic the behavioral effects of nerve agents. Paranoia, aggression, impaired decision-making. If the computers detect those symptoms in command personnel during an active alert, the implication hits me like a freight train. The automated systems won't just think the human operators are sick. They'll think they're under chemical attack by a hostile nation. And the prescribed response to chemical attack during DEFCON 3 is immediate nuclear retaliation. My radio crackles. Price, this is command. You are ordered to report to Briefing Room Alpha immediately. Security escort en route to your location. Security escort. They're coming for me. I look at the tools in my hands, at the ventilation systems I've maintained for 26 years, at the mountain that's been my life and might now become my tomb. And I make the hardest decision I've ever made. I'm not going to Briefing Room Alpha. The security team's footsteps echo through the corridor above me. 3 sets, maybe 4, moving fast. I kill my flashlight and listen to their progress. They'll take the main elevator down from level 3, which gives me maybe 2 minutes before they reach my position. 2 minutes to decide whether I'm going to follow orders or try to save the world. I key my radio one more time. Williams, this is Price. I'm implementing emergency shutdown procedures on AHU 7 and AHU 8. Contamination levels are critical. Negative. Price, you are ordered to cease all maintenance activities and report for debriefing immediately. I switch the radio off and drop it. If I'm going to do this, I can't have them tracking my movements or giving me orders I can't follow. My phone rings. Marcus again. Caleb, where are you? Still level 7. They're sending security after me. You need to get out of there. No, I need to get to level 3. The main environmental controls are there. You'll never make it past security. There's another way. The maintenance tunnels. They're not on the standard security maps because they were added during the '89 renovation. I helped install the access hatches myself. The footsteps are getting closer. I grab my tool bag and move toward the back of the AHU room, where a narrow tunnel connects to the primary water circulation system. It's barely wide enough for a person, designed for emergency access to pipes and cables, not human traffic. But it connects to the main utility corridor that runs straight up to level 3. Marcus, I need you to do something. Contact the Pentagon directly. Tell them what you told me about the pathogen. They need to know this is a targeted attack designed to trigger automated response. They won't believe me without proof. Then get proof, whatever it takes. I squeeze into the access tunnel. The space is so narrow I have to push my tool bag ahead of me and crawl. My shoulders scrape against concrete walls, and the flashlight beam bounces crazily as I move. Behind me, I hear voices in the HU room. Price. Security detail. Respond immediately. I keep crawling. The tunnel angles upward, following the mountain's natural slope. Every 20 feet, there's an access hatch leading to different systems. Level 6 water treatment. Level 5 electrical. Level 4 communications. My phone buzzes with a text. I can barely read it in the confined space. Sarah, they're saying there might be nuclear alert. Are you safe? I can't text back without stopping, and stopping means security catches up with me. So I keep crawling upward, hoping I can reach level 3 before the automated systems decide human judgment is too compromised to trust. At level 5, I hear something that makes my blood run cold. Alarms I've never heard before. Not the biological contamination alerts or even the DEFCON warnings. These are deeper, more urgent. The kind of alarms that mean the mountain's primary defensive systems are activating. I key my phone and call Marcus while still crawling. The mountain's going to active defense mode. How long before the computers take over? I don't know. I'm getting conflicting information from Geneva. Some reports say the contamination has reached level 3. If that's true, then people in the command center are already infected and making decisions while suffering from paranoia and impaired judgment. Above me, the mountain shudders. Not from another impact this time, from massive blast doors sealing. The kind of doors that lock the mountain away from the outside world when it goes into full defensive posture. I reach the level 4 access hatch and pause to listen. Footsteps in the corridors beyond, but moving away from my position. Good. They're still looking for me in the lower levels. My phone rings. Marcus. Caleb, I've got bad news. I just spoke with my contact at State. The pathogen has reached the command level. 3 officers are showing symptoms. What kind of symptoms? Paranoia, aggression, impaired decision-making. And Caleb, there's been a development. Radar has detected multiple aircraft approaching U.S. airspace from the east. Could be commercial flights diverted due to the biological alert. Could be something else. Multiple aircraft during a DEFCON 3 alert, while command personnel are suffering from symptoms that mimic chemical weapons exposure. Marcus, the computers are going to interpret that as confirmation of attack. I know, and if the human operators can't make rational decisions because they're infected, I don't let him finish. I'm already crawling again, faster now, ignoring the pain in my shoulders and knees. The level 3 access hatch is 30 feet ahead. Behind me, new voices echo through the tunnel system. They figured out where I went. Price, this is Colonel Martinez. You are ordered to surrender immediately. What you're doing constitutes treason during wartime. Treason. They think I'm working with whoever caused the crash. I reach the level 3 hatch and push it open. The environmental control room is 20 feet down the corridor. I can see the main console from here, with its array of switches and displays controlling the entire mountain's life support. But there's a problem. The corridor's not empty. 2 security officers are standing guard outside the environmental control room. They're facing away from me, watching the main corridor, but if I step out of the access hatch, they'll see me immediately. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. Pentagon confirms multiple radar contacts. Unknown intent. Automated systems have assumed threat assessment control. Automated threat assessment. The computers are now making determinations about hostile intent without human oversight. I look at the 2 security officers, at the environmental controls beyond them, at the tool bag in my hands. 26 years of maintaining these systems. I know every switch, every circuit, every backup protocol, including the ones that aren't in the official manuals. During the '89 renovation, they installed hardwired emergency overrides for the environmental systems. Physical switches that bypass computer controls in case of catastrophic system failure. They're in the utility box next to the main console, behind a panel marked Authorized Personnel Only. I've maintained those systems for decades. I am authorized personnel, but getting to them means getting past 2 armed guards who've been ordered to arrest me on site. My phone rings one final time. Marcus, voice tight with urgency. Caleb, listen to me. I've got intel from multiple sources. The aircraft approaching U.S. airspace are commercial flights being diverted due to biological contamination reports. They're not hostile, but the automated systems don't know that, and with infected officers making erratic decisions in the command center. The computers think it's a coordinated attack. Exactly. Chemical weapons followed by conventional strike. The prescribed response is immediate nuclear retaliation against presumed hostile nations. How long? Minutes. Maybe less. I look at my tool bag. Screwdrivers, wrenches, wire strippers. Nothing that could stop two armed security officers. But I don't need to stop them. I just need to distract them long enough to reach the environmental controls. I pull out my phone and dial 911. When the operator answers, I speak loud enough for the guards to hear. This is Caleb Price at NORAD. We have multiple casualties from biological weapons attack. Need immediate medical response to Level 3, Environmental Control Room. Both guards turn toward my voice. They're looking directly at the access hatch now, weapons drawn. NORAD personnel, identify yourself. Step out slowly with hands visible. Instead, I do something my father taught me 26 years ago, something that's kept me alive through decades of dangerous maintenance work. When the pattern changes, you adapt or you die. I shut off the lights. The Level 3 corridor plunges into emergency lighting. In the red glow and confusion, I roll out of the access hatch and sprint toward the environmental control room. Behind me, shouts and footsteps. Ahead of me, the console that controls the mountain's breathing. And above us all, automated systems making decisions that could end human civilization. The emergency lighting gives me maybe 3 seconds of confusion. I use them well. The environmental control panel is exactly where I left it 6 months ago during the last routine maintenance. The main power switch for the entire ventilation system sits behind a safety cover marked with warnings in 3 languages. Below it, the hardwired emergency overrides that can shut down circulation to specific levels independently of computer control. I flip the cover and kill the main power. The mountain stops breathing. Emergency fans kick in immediately, but they're isolated systems designed for temporary life support, not circulation between levels. Whatever contamination exists on each level will stay there until the main system restarts. Behind me, flashlight beams sweep the room. Price! Step away from the console. I can't do that. I shout back, flipping override switches as fast as my fingers can move. The contamination's already reached Level 3. If it gets to the command center during an automated alert, stand down immediately. Level 7 isolation, activated. Level 6, activated. Level 5, activated. My phone rings. Even in the chaos, I recognize Marcus's ringtone. Caleb, what did you do? We're reading massive environmental system failures across the entire complex. I shut down circulation between levels. The contamination can't spread anymore. And the people who need air, emergency life support is still running. They'll have enough air for several hours, long enough to implement proper decontamination protocols. A hand grabs my shoulder, spins me around. Colonel Martinez, flanked by 2 security officers with weapons drawn. But his eyes look different than they did 26 years ago when he first took command. Bloodshot. Darting. The paranoia Marcus warned me about. Price, you're under arrest for sabotage of critical defense infrastructure during wartime. Sir, I prevented the contamination from reaching the command center. Your decision-making capability is compromised. The biological agent causes paranoia and impaired judgment. Lies. His voice rises to a near shout. You're working with them. The attack on the plane, the contamination, now sabotaging our life support systems. Through my phone, I hear Marcus's voice. Caleb, automated systems have detected the environmental shutdown. They're interpreting it as confirmation that the facility is under attack. Martinez's radio crackles. Command, this is Stratcom. We show critical system failures at Cheyenne Mountain. Advise status of command authority. This is Martinez. We have enemy infiltrators in the facility. Biological weapons attack followed by sabotage. Requesting authorization for defensive response. Sir, I try again. The biological agent affects judgment. You're not thinking clearly. He backhands me across the face. The paranoia is getting worse. Colonel, one of the security officers says carefully, maybe we should evacuate to secondary command before. No, we hold this position. They want us to abandon the mountain so they can complete their mission. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. Multiple missile silos showing active status. Automated systems preparing for launch authorization. The words hit me like ice water. The computers think the environmental shutdown confirms an active attack. They're moving toward nuclear response. Martinez's radio crackles again. Cheyenne Mountain, this is Stratcom. We show unauthorized system shutdowns and loss of environmental control. Are you under direct attack? Affirmative, Martinez responds, his voice getting higher, more agitated. Biological weapons, sabotage, possible enemy infiltration. Request immediate. I grab the radio from his hand. Stratcom, this is Senior Technician Caleb Price, NORAD Environmental Systems. The contamination has reached command level. Colonel Martinez is exhibiting symptoms of biological agent exposure. Do not authorize nuclear response based on his assessment. One of the security officers moves toward me, but the other one, Sergeant Williams, I realize now, stops him. Wait, Williams says. Look at his eyes. He's pointing at Martinez, whose pupils are dilated, darting back and forth. Price might be right about the contamination effects. Martinez spins toward Williams, face flushed. You're all compromised. All of you. The radio crackles. This is General Morrison at Stratcom. Price, what's your assessment of command capability at Cheyenne Mountain? I look at Martinez, who's now backing toward the corner of the room, hand on his sidearm. At Williams, whose eyes show the first signs of the same paranoid symptoms. At the environmental controls I've just shut down, buying us time we might not have. Sir, biological contamination has reached level 3. Multiple personnel showing symptoms of paranoia and impaired judgment. I've isolated the contamination by shutting down interlevel air circulation, but automated systems are interpreting this as confirmation of attack. Understood. We're overriding automated protocols from here. Stand by. Martinez draws his weapon. Nobody leaves this room. They're all working together. Williams moves carefully, hands visible. Colonel, you need medical attention. The biological agent. There is no biological agent. It's a cover story. Martinez's voice breaks. They crashed the plane to get inside the mountain. My phone rings. Marcus, probably trying to update me on the missile status. I answer while keeping my eyes on Martinez's weapon. Caleb, listen carefully. The automated systems are in full defensive mode, but I've managed to contact the Pentagon directly. They're implementing manual override of the launch sequences. How long? They're working on it, but there's something else. The pathogen wasn't just designed to cause paranoia. According to the Swiss research data, it also causes aggressive behavior in the final stages. I look at Martinez, whose hand is now shaking as he points his weapon at Williams. How long until final stages? For someone exposed an hour ago, maybe minutes. Martinez's radio suddenly erupts with multiple voices. DEFCON 2 authorized. Multiple missile sites reporting ready status. Manual override in progress, all stations stand by. DEFCON 2. The last step before nuclear war. Colonel, I say carefully, the contamination is affecting your judgment. You know me. I've worked in this mountain for 26 years. I'm not your enemy. You shut down our life support, he shouts. During an attack, to prevent the contamination from spreading to more people. Williams moves another step closer. Sir, let's get you to medical. They can run tests, confirm weather. Martinez fires. The shot goes wide, sparking off the concrete wall. Williams dives for cover behind the environmental console. I drop to the floor, phone still pressed to my ear. Marcus, Martinez just opened fire. The pathogen's reached final stage. You need to get out of there. I can't. If I leave, there's no one to restart the environmental systems once they get the contamination under control. Another shot. This one shatters my phone. Williams has his weapon drawn now, pointed at Martinez. Sir, drop your weapon. You're not in control of your actions. I'm the only one thinking clearly. Martinez screams. The radio crackles one final time. All stations, this is Stratcom. Manual override complete. All automated launch sequences are now offline. Repeat, nuclear response is offline pending resolution of biological contamination at Cheyenne Mountain. They did it. The Pentagon overrode the computers before they could launch. But Martinez isn't listening to the radio anymore. His eyes have gone completely wild, pupils so dilated I can barely see the irises. The final stage paranoia that Marcus warned about. He's aiming at me now. Williams doesn't hesitate. His shot takes Martinez in the shoulder, spinning him around. The colonel's weapon clatters across the floor. Williams moves quickly, kicking the gun away, checking Martinez's wound. Medical to level 3 emergency, he shouts into his radio. I pick up the pieces of my shattered phone, then move back to the environmental console. The system status lights show red across all levels, No circulation, emergency power only. Williams, how long before medical gets here? Maybe 10 minutes. They have to suit up for biological contamination. And how long before people start suffocating? He checks his watch. Emergency air supplies are good for about 4 hours on each level. 4 hours. Enough time to implement proper decontamination, treat the infected personnel, and restart circulation to clean levels. If we're lucky. Williams helps me secure Martinez, who's now mumbling incoherently about enemy infiltrators and nuclear winter. The pathogen's final stage seems to involve complete breaks from reality. Price, Williams says, you probably saved about 50 million lives today. How do you figure? If those automated systems had launched during a biological contamination event, with infected personnel making target selections. He doesn't finish the sentence. I think about Marcus, probably still in Geneva trying to figure out who caused the plane crash. About Sarah, evacuated from Colorado Springs along with everyone else in the blast radius. About the mountain, breathing again through emergency systems while we wait for the all clear. 26 years I've been keeping this place running. Never thought it would come down to shutting it off to keep it safe. My shattered phone buzzes somehow. Must be running on battery power alone. A text message, barely readable on the cracked screen. Sarah, are you alive? I borrow William's radio and patch through to an outside line. Sarah, it's me. I'm okay. Thank God. They're saying the biological alert is over. Some kind of false alarm? False alarm. Sure. If you don't count the crashed diplomatic plane, the weaponized pathogen, the infected command staff, and the nuclear missiles that came within minutes of launching. Yeah, I tell her. False alarm. But as I look at the environmental controls I'll need to restart, at the contamination readings that will take hours to clear, at Colonel Martinez being stretchered out in biological containment gear, I know this is just the beginning. Because somewhere out there, whoever caused that plane to crash is still free. And next time, they might not make the mistake of leaving someone alive who knows how the mountain breathes. I pick up my tool bag and get back to work. After all, somebody has to keep the lights on.